Hello, my name is Alan Lorenzen, Systems Engineer with PanoLogic. Today we're going to talk about Pano Zero Client Discovery. Pano clients need to be discovered in order to be managed by the Pano controller. There are two methods of discovery of zero clients. The first is the broadcast probe method, which allows you to specify networks or ranges of addresses for the Pano controller to scan and discover clients. This is great for POCs, trials, and small environments where you want to get up and running quickly. The preferred method and recommended by PanoLogic is the DHCP method. This allows you to create a DHCP vendor class within your DHCP server so that when the Pano client connects to your network, the DHCP server passes the Pano controller's IP address to the device and the connection is made. In this first example, we're going to go through the first method of broadcast probe method. First, we need to log into our Pano controller UI. Once inside, we're going to click on the Setup tab and expand the Discovery Configuration section. We're going to click on the Edit button, which brings up the Discovery Configuration dialog. To enable the local broadcast, all we need to do is check the checkbox next to Local Broadcast. And what this does is it's going to scan for all devices on the network that the Pano controller is connected to. In this example, that's the 172.17.18 network. So any clients that are on that network will be discovered with that checkbox enabled. If you wanted to probe addresses on another network or specify a range of addresses, you're going to need to fill in the probe address field. So for example, if we wanted to scan a 192.168.10 network, for all addresses, we can enter 192.168.10.0 with the subnet mask of 24, and that will scan all 256 addresses within that range. If we want to add another network but only scan for a specific range of, say, 5 addresses, we can enter a space to add a second option, and then we'll enter that other network. So let's say 192.168.11. And then we'll start at 10 and we'll go to 15. And that will add another 6 addresses from 10 to 15 to our list. Once that's enabled, we can click OK, and the Pano controller will go off and probe those addresses that we have specified. From the Pano client, you will see different statuses of lights to know which state the device is in. When you initially connect it to the network, you'll see a blinking amber light, which signifies that it's connected and has a link, but it's looking for an IP address. Once the device gets an address from DHCP, it will go to solid amber. And until it's connected up to the manager, it will stay in that state. Once connected to the Pano controller and discovered via this method that we've just enabled, you will see the light turn blue. At this point, you will now see the login screen on your monitor connected to that client. And the client will show up in the Clients tab in the Pano controller. From that Clients tab, you can see the name, which is defaulted to Pano-MAC address, the MAC address of the device, IP address it got from DHCP, and serial number and type of the device. The second method is the DHCP method of discovery. This allows you to add a vendor class to your DHCP server to pass the Pano controller's IP address to the client device when it's connected and gets an IP address from DHCP. In this example, we're going to show you Windows 2008 R2 configuration, but we also support Windows 2003, Linux, Cisco, and various other types of DHCP configuration. I've started my DHCP management utility on my Windows 2008 R2 server. I'm going to expand my domain controller and DHCP server. The first step is to right-click on IPv4 and select Define Vendor Class. In the DHCP Vendor Classes dialog, we're going to click Add. Under the display name, we're going to enter PanoLogic. Under the description, we're going to enter Pano-Controller. And in the last area, under the ID, in the ASCII field, we're going to enter PanoLogic. We're going to click OK, And now our vendor class shows up in this list. We'll click Close. Back in the main screen, we're going to right click on IPv4 again, and we want to select Set Predefined Options. Under the Option class, we're going to choose PanoLogic, and then we want to add an option name. Here we want to enter Pano space controller under the name field. In the data type field, we want to select IP address. And in the code, we want to enter a 1 or a 101. Click OK. And now in this predefined options field, we now want to enter our IP address of our Pano controller virtual appliance. If you have multiple Pano controller virtual appliances configured in a group, you'll want to enter the virtual IP address of the group. If you have a single Pano controller appliance, you want to enter the IP address of that Pano appliance. So I'm going to type in the IP address of my Pano controller virtual appliance and click OK. Now the last option is we need to enable it under the scope. So I'm going to expand IPv4, expand my scope, select my scope options, right click, select Configure Options. From the Advanced tab, I want to choose PanoLogic from my vendor class dropdown. I want to make sure that the Pano controller line is checked. You'll now see the Pano controller IP address you entered previously, and we want to click OK. Now you'll see that my Pano controller is added as a scope option. So now you can connect your Pano Zero client device to the network. It will get a DHCP address, go through the series of lights, connect up to the Pano controller by getting past that IP address. At that point, you'll see the Pano client in the Clients tab of the Pano controller UI, and you'll see the login screen on the monitor connected to the Pano Zero client. In summary, there's two methods of discovery with Pano Zero clients. You have the broadcast probe method, which is great for POCs, trials, and quick deployments. And then you have the recommended method for deployments in the DHCP method. Thank you.